Laughing Song by George W. Johnson. As I was coming around the corner, I heard some people say, here comes the dandy darky, here he comes this way. His heel is like a snowplow, his mouth is like a trap, and when he opens it gently, you will see a fearful gap that I laugh. I got Daddy from Larry. I got Daddy from Larry.
The flickering of firelight dances in your eyes as you exit the window and enter the large, flattened field that surrounds the gray mansion. It borders each side of the house, save the front, and stretches on over rolling hills which disappear into the mist. The bonfires that burn sporadically throughout the fields offer a little light in the fog-filled night air that seems to cling to the edges of the fields. But beyond, you see there is forest. As you stand on the flattened corn husks, you smell the rot of the ground beneath your feet. Before you can move, however, you hear a loud crack of wood and the splintering of debris on the back porch. You turn to see a large, shirtless man with blood covering his torso, his tongue outstretched hungrily like an animal. In his hand he holds a heavy cleaver, and he turns towards the sky to howl wildly. The creature you see is more monster than man. It stands 9 feet tall at least, his torso elongated and stretched as if he were pulled in 2 directions. His limbs don't offer much in the way of muscle, but his movements are dexterous and capable. And as he finishes his howl, he looks down. His face, though old and weathered, sports a thinning gray beard and hair. It is gaunt, as if stretched out as well. His bony limbs swing wildly. He has yet to see you. Why doesn't everyone give me a spot hidden?
Gladly.
Would love to.
Oh, he's got a third nipple.
Oh. I'm so focused on that third nipple, I don't see anything else.
Cedric?
I got a, I believe it's a hard success. Yes.
I also got a hard success.
Amazing. So the two of you see from the, like, I think you opened the window, you didn't smash it. So from the stalks of corn that you stand on, you sort of turn and see this creature. Again, he's sort of to the side of you in a way. He's sort of stretching out to the field, and he hasn't seen you yet. And you see in the moonlight that somehow cuts through the fog that all along his back is shimmering gray skin, as if his hide is thick, like a carapace. The three of you have yet to be seen.
Is this long grass or corn?
It's all flattened corn in sort of soft hills that roll every once in a while. You are only next to the house, and again, from the window you just left, a shotgun blast splintered the doorway minutes after you climbed out. You can only see the fields and the fog that clings maybe 100, 200 feet in any direction. You can see sort of the stalks of trees beyond the farthest part from you, but it's a fair trek.
We have to run.
Let's make a break for it.
Just straight up run for it?
If we get to the tree line in this fog, we might be safe.
Maybe
Okay,
we
but
should
try to keep it down while you're running, all right?
Maybe we should make a distraction.
That's a good idea. And
So are we being fired at currently?
No, not yet. I mean, she's walking through the door, presumably. Are you tucked up against the house, or are you sort of just standing next to the open window?
Yeah, tucked up against the house.
That was sort of my thinking. So you lean up against it. Why doesn't everyone give me a luck roll?
oh, I can do that.
See how daft she is. If she looks straight out.
Everyone?
Yeah.
Group
I
luck.
am lucky.
Ooh, I
Hard
succeed.
success.
So you see Emily. You hear the splintering and her feet upon the broken wood of the office door, and you see her head sort of stick out for a second and then right back in. But she only looks straight out. So yeah, the three of you are tucked up against the side of the house for the moment.
I think that's a good idea. We should make a distraction. I don't know, and I am kind of at a loss for what to do, how to make the distraction.
We really don't have any equipment to speak of.
No, you don't.
It was a nice idea.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm just gonna reach down onto the ground and grab like a stick.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
a big rock.
Yeah, there's a bunch of like stones next to the house.
And I'm gonna try to throw it.
Okay. Are you throwing it in the direction of the creature by the back porch? So if you are, let's say the house is facing south, if you picture an overhead map, it's a perfect square. You're along the east side of it, and the back is to the north. So this creature basically broke out of the back door center north of this house and began walking, maybe 10 foot out to the field.
Gotcha.
So from your perspective, when you guys had kind of hopped out the window, you could kind of see him kitty corner towards the north. And now you're tucked up against. So you can't see him. And in any direction, north, east, west, everything but south, you see just this stretching field. And mist hits before you can see the edge.
which way is the tree line?
Tree line is every direction, minus south.
Can I do a spot hidden to see if I can just see the edges of something in the fog?
Definitely.
Okay.
There are other buildings on the property that are fairly close to us.
No, those are all.
Ooh.
Is that the worst?
That's 100. That's the very.
Oh, dang.
No.
You see nothing. The other buildings on the property are down the hill towards the sort of compound below. The mansion sits on a hill, sort of alone, only surrounded by fields.
Is the pickup truck around?
To the front of the building, yes. Well,
So to the
you can't
south.
see it. Yes, to the south. It could be. That is where you were sort of dropped off. You do remember Victor saying he was going to check on the people. However, he also appeared back inside as a grinner. So,
Yeah.
what that means.
I'm going to throw.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I'm getting ready to throw the rock when it looks like Petra has.
Should we make for the trees or try to get the car?
They're going to expect us to make for the trees, or for the car rather. If we make it to the trees, I think they're not going to know that we're heading that direction.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay,
Get to the tree
so
line.
run quietly and very fast.
Okay.
No distraction.
Yeah, distraction, and then run.
Okay.
But quiet run.
So I'm going to throw from. I'm going to try to make a triangle from where he is to where we are, and I'm going to try to throw towards the hypotenuse. If that makes sense. So we are to the east.
Correct.
He is at the house, which is and he's on the east side.
He's on the north side.
North side.
Oh, right. He's on the north side.
Yeah.
So I'm going to try to throw. I'm throwing northeast.
God, remember calculus, guys?
Okay. Okay, and you're going to be running north-south or east-south?
We're going to run just east.
Okay.
East, south.
Okay.
Just channeling my Richard Simmons.
All right.
We're running east, everybody!
Let's do it. So give me a dexterity roll.
Let's go south!
Lift those knees!
Or a throw if
right.
there's a throw. There might be.
He doesn't even have a lisp. All right. Oh my God! There is a throw.
There is a
I got a
god.
hard success, and there is a god as well.
Yeah, and what are you doing?
I've only got 20%. Fuck.
I got confused. I was making a roll to run for it. and
Okay,
then-
well that's fine. We're gonna count it because Yan, you get confused and you get excited and you're sort of over the beating of the heart and you bolt as the stone starts. That's your run or your stealth?
Run, I think.
Okay.
That's my run.
Okay. So I'm gonna say it's a very risky, but because Cedric had such an extreme success, was it extreme or just a hard?
No, it was just a hard.
Still,
I've only got 20%.
That's really good. You chuck the rock up with a wide arc, and it sort of lands even more north than you had hoped. And because you're tucked against the house, you can't quite see the creature right now, but you see Yan just bolt across to the east towards the presumable tree line. The two of you,
as much of a bolt as he can, limping, favoring the one leg, figuring he needs the head start anyways. Try it.
Perfect. Yeah, and the three of you start running. Cedric and Petra, give me a roll as well.
All right.
I'm going to use one of my XP.
Yeah, we're going to call this a stealth roll. Because you're not trying to run something, you're just trying to run something sneakily.
Thank you, Colin, for this XP.
Yes, I will also use an XP.
So glad I did. 8.
Ooh, very nice.
Works for me.
And I got a 49, and my stealth is 50.
Fuck yeah.
Okay, I will say this. You can both keep your XP, because I'm going to say the advantage of having that rock is that you got to roll with advantage anyway.
Oh, beautiful.
So you can still thank Colin, but I'm going to say that was a
No thanks, Colin.
Yeah, the two of you take off after Yan, who's running with surprising speed despite his ailment. You are sort of moving and limping, trying to keep as low as you can as the fog clings sort of to the bottom of these fields. You can see the corn husks all beaten down. And as you run, you notice to the right of you, the south of the building, where the fields exit towards the parking lot and the hill that leads down towards the compound, you see flecks of flickering torchlight sort of spread out amongst the field, as if a sweep is sort of moving in. It's very brief. You notice it from your sideline, and as you do, let's roll, because life is full of roll. That's what this game is, right? It's an RPG. Yeah, okay. Yeah, as you roll very successfully, but as you do, you hear a howl behind you. This guttural, deep bellow that sounds as if its lungs are large enough to. It just has this sort of like, you know how Andre the Giant has this really deep voice? It sort of has that. Mm-hmm. Just this.
That's bad news. Run.
Yeah, you keep running, and as you do, you see through the fog emerge what you sort of think is the tree line is actually just unpressed husks of corn. And to your left is it looks like a shed, like an outlining of a shed.
Over there. And I start moving towards the shed. It's like, it's not...
It's pretty small.
Like safe.
It's maybe like 5 feet by 5 feet. I mean, it's...
Yeah,
It's not.
I'm just going to run over there. I might not even say anything. I might just go, wait.
Okay.
And just make it known that I'm heading that direction. I'm just going to look inside, see if I can find something as a weapon.
Definitely. Yeah, you barrel towards the shed and sort of check it. Yan, because you're wounded despite your success, you sort of meet at the same time as Petra does. Yeah. And again, the two of you are standing next to this shed to your left, this row of rotting corn that is yet to fall over, and then beyond that, it's just more mist in this direction.
We have to keep going. Cedric!
And Cedric, why don't you give me a spot hidden?
I will do this.
Ian, what are you thinking as this sort of scene is unfolding? You're catching your breath,
obviously. I mean, he's sort of resting his back against the back of the shed, looking at this line of torches coming closer, and just racking his mind for anything that's going to help them get away. He's checking his pockets. He's pretty much only got this ring on him that he had intended for someone special, and is now like the last piece of what was left of this decision he was trying to make.
Yeah, and as you pocket that sort of ring and you pull it out, and what is it exactly? It's an engagement ring?
It was a ring he bought he was going to propose but wasn't sure. He just wasn't ready to commit at that time, and now he's looking at it and you can see in the reflection like this future of like, God, if we only survive this, there's maybe I should do something, make a decision anyways.
Amazing. And Petra, you sort of see Yan holding this ring. What is Petra thinking?
Petra's terrified. Her eyes are glittering in the torchlight. She's just watching the line of people in the dark move closer and closer. Cedric, come on.
Cedric, you're frantically looking through, and with a 10, you find something pretty good. Roll a 1d6.
Okay.
I have to assume it's a hard?
No, spot hidden. That's a extreme.
Oh, fuck. Okay, give me 1d6.
That's good, right?
Yeah, it's good for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God! I hope it's a bocce ball and pantyhose.
Hashtag reference.
I got a 1.
Oh shit! It's a 45 automatic.
All right.
Yeah.
Holy
so
shit.
you find a like automatic pistol.
Wait, 45 automatic?
Yeah, 45 automatic pistol. I'm gonna post it in the chat so you can see the stats of it.
Very nice.
Weapon stats now.
It's beautiful.
I'll just put it in handouts actually, so you can see sort of the details of it. Yeah, tell us how you find it. I'm thinking it's a. Yeah, tell us how you find it and how Cedric reacts.
Okay, so this little hut is like a games hut. Mm-hmm. And there is a croquet set there, and that's where my mind first goes. But then I see this like slick mahogany box on top of one of the shelves, and one of them, there's a long mahogany box that is open on the counter and looks like it contained a rifle, but it's no longer in there. But in this small box of the same design, I open that, and sure enough, I find in like velvet siding is this 45 automatic and some ammo.
And it almost looks to be like it was a gift that was hidden here like a year ago. The actual make of the rifle is dated 1911, which is the famous 45 1911 automatic that's used as a sidearm in World War II. But this one looks to be like a specially engraved gift, and it just has the initials EG in it. And you feel the weight of it in your hand, and it feels right for the most part.
Yeah, and I take it and I run back out and I say, okay, come on, and follow wherever Jan and Petra decide.
Perfect. Do you want to give me another maybe spot hidden to see which direction you should be heading for the most part, or do you just want to run?
No, I think we should just run blindly.
Definitely.
Into the night. He wouldn't ask us that question if it was something that we should be concerned about.
Well, no.
I'll just roll it just in case, you know?
Okay. You see
but
nothing.
It's probably nothing.
Due diligence.
You see nothing at all.
That is a spot hidden. Aw. That's a hard success.
Aw.
Nice.
One off of the
Aw,
next
she says.
You were standing again next to the yet to be fallen corn. And I will say that beyond it, to the north a little more, you do see the edge of trees. It looks like beyond this, there doesn't seem to be trees. You're not sure what it is, but you can see the tops of the trees and sort of in a break of passing fog and the blue moonlight beyond. So you do think that if you kind of continue north along the edge of the cornfield, you could cut across, or cut across and then go north, or go kitty corner through the cornfield. The choice is yours.
There! The wood's just there! Petra says quietly and doesn't scream as was her initial impulse.
Okay, good.
I think shortest possible path. Just cut through.
Yes, we have to run.
As the crow flies?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going kitty corner, the most difficult to navigate in the cornfield. And you start heading in. Just as you leave into the cornfield, you see that line of torches, maybe 50 feet away from you. Again, you're still bathed pretty much in the dark, but that booming, the footsteps of the creature that was bellowing was running towards you this entire time. And as you enter the cornfield and start moving northeast through it, across the slatted rows, which is always so tough to sort of measure out when you're trying to keep straight, It's sort of like fighting the impulse. It's like tapping your head or rubbing your tummy and tapping your head at the same time, because you're working against the grain to an extent as you're moving through a cornfield on an angle. I speak from experience of being lost in many a cornfield. And as you do, Yan, why don't you give me a listen roll? You're sort of bringing up the rear, being the most wounded.
Sure. Got ears. Oh yeah, there we are. How do you feel about hard success?
Yeah, you hear the crunch of the cornfield from your, I guess, left, as you surmise that the creature has entered the cornfield with you.
Oh, it's on our left. It's on our left.
We kind of stop and pause for a second, I'm guessing. I'm going to take this opportunity to reach into the back of my pants and pull out the gun again. And with shaking hands, I go over to Petra and I grab her hand and I wrap it around the gun and say, "You know how to use this. I sure as hell don't."
Her hand's shaking, her eyes super wide. There's like a bead of sweat dripping down her face. Okay. I think it's coming from over there. Do we keep going?
I think we gotta be quiet. We gotta be very quiet.
Step by step, you hear this creature sort of lumber closer to you. Why doesn't everyone give me a stealth roll?
I'm gonna use XP.
I'm gonna use an XP too. Yeah.
Everyone with Petra. Petra's like, I got this shit.
Oh.
My stealth is 40, but I'm not.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I'm always confused by it.
I got to be an extreme success.
The hubris here.
Success.
Ooh, that is a critical.
Wow.
Success.
Did everyone get over a hard success? Who didn't?
Or extreme.
I didn't get over a hard. I just got regular. Oh, but I'll use luck to make it a hard. I will use 3 luck.
All right, fine. All right, fine. Yeah, you hear this creature move. The sort of dry breaking of corn stalks sounds to your left. It grows closer and closer. You can hear the brittle breaking of the stalks in the cold January air as they crunch beneath your feet. And from beneath the corn stalks, you look up through the slats and you see the silhouette of the creature. Its elongated face, its sort of wispy gray hair basked in darkness as it steps maybe 10 feet around and looks wide across. For a moment you think it's going to turn, and then you hear a slice as the top foot of the stalks you hide beneath sort of cut and fall, but you remain still as they land around you. It lumbers back and forth and then lets out a shriek as you can see its face sort of begin to light slightly as the people who hold the torches begin to move into the cornfield behind you. It turns and exits back towards the house direction, giving you a moment to run.
So it doesn't seem interested at all in the people with torches.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
I'm going to elect that we roll sanity for that moment.
Definitely.
Oh boy, come on, Justin.
I'm
Teacher,
serious. Well, you know what?
You were that girl. Who are you talking?
I know.
Oh, yeah, I'm shook.
It's going to be a 1d4. So if you fail, roll 1d4. If you succeed, take 1.
32. That is a fail.
No, I fail.
Yeah, so 1d4.
2.
That's a 3. Petra is sitting at 20.
21.
Oh, 21, yeah. Not great.
I do the good. Yeah, you crouch down and continue moving, I'm assuming. You can kind of hear the pattern of feet crunching through.
Yeah, quickly now. Still trying to stay down, stay stealthy, but okay, let's go. Now's our chance. Petra takes off, like hunched over, running in the field.
Okay. Who rolled extreme success on the last stealth?
Me.
Okay, so Rob and Cedric roll stealth.
Sure. Oh, there's a. That is an extreme success.
Nice.
Oh,
Great job, guys.
Well, don't speak too soon.
No.
That is a fucking wild extreme success.
Wow.
Oh boy.
Holy crap. That's you get like
Critical.
something good for that. So I'll give you advantage.
Oh, you got 100 and 0
Jesus.
or 1.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. The three of you move stealthily through the corn stalks. The sweat drips literally from your brow as your eyes sort of become hazy as you move through it. The fog becomes almost parts as you move through. You can hear the crunching of feet behind you. Yeah, and you moved. You continue on, but the feet kind of become closer and closer until you see the tops of the trees at the edge. You have enough sort of to do a mad dash for them, or you can sort of keep your stealthy roll. So you can roll Dex or stealth.
Running towards lights in the distance?
No, towards the treetops.
Oh.
Sorry, my mind was working. My mouth was going somewhere else. So you're moving through successfully. It's still about 50 feet from you, but you're kind of eager to get to the edge. So you can roll dexterity or roll another stealth.
I'm gonna go with dexterity for this one, and I'm using a point of luck. I don't want to get caught. That's still not good enough.
53.
That's a fail.
You can spend luck to bump it up.
That would be like all my luck.
Oh, okay, it's up to you.
All of my luck.
Oh, I fucking failed.
Okay, so 2 fails, Cedric.
And I'm sprinting as well. Dexterity. I succeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, Cedric. Have a good life.
You sprint up ahead, Cedric, but as you do, you sort of see this decline come up. Petra and Yan, you go to move, but you sort of trip, and you fall heavy in the field, and you can already hear voices sort of coming down from the south of you, and they begin sprinting faster. You look up nervously toward Petra, who, I'm going to say your failure, sort of Petra's like helping Yan. Like together you both are left behind. And as you stand up, you begin bolting towards the edge of the cornfield. You can kind of see the edge where Cedric stands, and he's sort of waving you towards as the feet are pressing fast behind you. The light is now almost reflecting on Cedric's face as the three of you are moving towards the edge. And as you do, you barrel into Cedric, and the three of you go tumbling down a steep embankment. You roll over each other, mud splashing against your faces. You bump and bruise all the way down until you fall into a wet slap of thick mud. And Petra, you smash your face against something hard and furry in the darkness as the three of you look up towards the flickering of torches that are still moving through the cornfield. You look back down, and in the moonlight you realize that you are lying in a ditch filled with dead horses, some with large bullet holes in their skulls, some cut to pieces. And as you hear the approaching footsteps through the cornfield from the embankment, you realize that there's no time to run. Everybody roll stealth with advantage.
All right. Pardon me.
Definitely fail.
Just succeed.
Oh. Hard success.
Hard success. Okay.
Right.
Petra and Cedric, the two of you slide beneath the bodies. Petra, you move a broken hoof of one of the large steeds over top of you and sort of lay still in the grim day diffused moonlight. Yan, however, you can't quite get a position. You see the light moving, and you realize that you would be giving your friends away. What do you do?
I think he just stops and plays dead.
Okay.
I think he's already covered in blood. He just fell down a hill. His face is already pretty fucked up. His legs messed up. I think it's conceivable he could look dead, and I think he's just gonna like stop and pretend to be dead for a minute and hope they pass on through. They see a hole full of carnage, they enjoy it for 30 seconds, and then they need something fresh to go and continue searching for the others.
Okay. You sort of lie over as Cedric and Petra are under. The stench of the rotting horse meat sits thick in each of your lungs as your hearts beat wildly fast over the crunch of the cornfield. And Petra, as you're lying beneath the horses, blackish blood drips down from the broken leg you hide beneath and drips on your hand. Give me a sanity roll, Petra.
Oh no.
Petra, for a moment, you were taken back. What are you taken back to?
I'm 12 years old. I hear a roll of thunder in the distance and the steady drum of rain on the roof and on the pastures. It's totally dark, so I'm moving mostly by touch and memory. I love the barns. I love the sweet smell of hay and the horses. I reach out for the wooden beams that comprise the eastern stalls where Julian is stabled. One of the mares whickers nervously at me in the dark as I move quietly along the row. A flash of lightning strobes across the sky, and I see him. My father's prized stallion, 8 feet away from me. He's magnificent. The fastest horse I've ever seen. I slowly reach down into the fine wool of my coat, and I clutch a vial I know is amber-colored and appliqued with a peeling mint green label. Julian's feed trough is half full of clover and alfalfa. I unscrew the dropper. My hand is shaking. The vial emits the bakery scent of almonds. In the early morning, I wake to the sound of crows and the pounding of feet running down the main stairs. At the window, I can see my father striding across the lawn in his house coat and bare feet gathering mud. Mother wouldn't have let him do that. He stands in the door to the stables for 10 seconds before he drops to his knees. I pull on my dressing gown in a flurry, practicing consolatory words. Daddy, I'm so sorry to hear that Julian isn't feeling well. I know he'll be right as rain in no time. Maybe instead of the races, we can take the Mercedes and go to the zoo today? Would you like that instead, Daddy? My feet carry me across the dewy grass, and I see my father, still unmoving from the place where he kneels in the door of the stable. My stomach rots away with fear. There are 8 stable hands hollering and rushing around. They are stained with blood. I stand wordlessly beside Father, who doesn't acknowledge me at all. I peer into the darkness of the stable at the bodies of the horses, all of them, foaming and seizing and dead. The stable master comes over, wringing his hat in his hands, red face washed with tears. Winslow, Argos, Saltzman stands up and punches him in the face. In the present, Petra's eyes glaze over and she hears the roll of thunder.
The torchlight dances against your eyes from underneath the horses, and you lie still and motionless as you see 5, 6, 7 grinners exit the cornfield and stand before the embankment down. They sort of glance over the piles of dead, looking hard through them. But none seem to react. After a few moments, you hear the lumbering, heavy footsteps of the creature as the corn presses down and he exits from the field. holding Geneva Patterson, normal, by the throat. She kicks and grabs the creature's hands. Emily Gray, with her double-barrel shotgun, comes behind the creature, and you hear her looking past the ditch to the direction that they feel you went, and she screams out into the darkness. "You cannot survive this!" she says, and waits for movement, waits for sound, waits for anything as she scans the horizon for movement. And after a moment, coldly says, "Kill her." The creature squeezes. You hear the stretching of Geneva's vocal cords as her neck rips, and through her gurgled scream you watch the creature tear her head from her body, throwing the lifeless torso into the ditch with you as her head rolls down the embankment. The creature, Emily, and the Grinners turn around and head back into the cornfield. You wait a good time until almost all sound ceases and the roll of thunder again sounds out, until the soft pattering of rain begins dropping down onto the horses that lie above you. And you can feel the water wash over your face, down your shirt, and wet the ring box that sits loosely in your pocket as the three of you breathe again.
Petra's just lying with her head on the rib cage of a horse carcass, with her hand sort of tangled in its fur, just letting the rain hit her body. It's not moving.
Jan's face comes alive again as the first few drops of rain sort of fall onto it, and he takes a deep breath and regrets it almost immediately, but sort of exhales loudly and starts to make an effort to sit up and move through the muck and the blood and the gore towards something that feels like solid ground.
You actually have to crawl past Geneva's lifeless head, a woman that you were speaking to earlier tonight in her living room with her son and Sammy Wiley, a woman who was so fearful of what might come that she was willing to not let you in. And for a second, the thought of maybe she shouldn't have crosses your mind as you sort of crawl on your belly through the muck to the embankment that leads up towards the woods.
Cedric starts pushing himself out of the corpses as well and finds Petra. Is Petra sitting up yet?
No, she's lying on this horse.
And he sees Jan going up. Petra. Petra.
Yes.
Come on, we gotta go. We gotta go. You're lying in a field of dead horses. Let's get out of here. Come on.
So I am. Help me up, would you, Cedric?
Gladly. Come on. And I give her a hand as I pull her out. Both of our feet slipping on the muddy carcasses as we manage to get our feet eventually.
And you exit the sort of ditch of dead as the drops begin raining down harder. And the three of you move towards the tree line, broken and pained. And eventually you reach the edge of the wood and see a thin dirt path.
Where are we?
I really have no idea.
This has got to be that path they were talking about, doesn't it? At least somewhere to go. Oh, you're. I mean, you know we're in the woods north of the compound, right? Like, you still remember everything?
I think maybe I hit my head.
What's the last thing you remember?
I don't want to talk about it.
That's fair.
I imagine this path going this way will lead away from the compound, right?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a Miss Mosley, I think, something in these woods. She knows something that might help us. At least it's a place maybe we can find refuge, unless she's also become a monster.
Oh yes, that's right. Mrs. Mosley.
I can't think of anywhere else to go.
Not going that way. We've only got one direction. Forward.
You think the kids are all right?
The kids?
I don't want to think about it.
It's hard to walk away when you know that they might be in there.
There's nothing but death for us back that way.
Let's keep moving.
Yeah, you're right. How's your leg?
Hurts like hell.
Looks like hell.
Yep. How's your stab wound?
Oh, it's fine.
Oh, good. I was glad. I figured that'd be good for it. Double down the hill. Yeah.
The three of you begin moving through the woods. The path sort of curves north. It was the path that Victor describes, and as you ponder why Victor would have described it this way, and sort of the overall innocence that he seemed to exude in all of this, you wonder how many of these people were supporters of this cause, how many were victims, and as you rightly asked, who further will become a victim? The children that you met, the people in town, even your friends, Abdul and Catherine and Raymond, who had left earlier, where they might be. And as the night carries on and it grows darker, you continue moving north through this small dirt path. The trees, tall and robust, begin to sort of shrink and become thinner. Eventually the trunks of the trees turn a blackish shade, and the leaves that had fallen months ago that are revealed beneath the melted snow sort of pad your feet as you walk with a wet squish. You move deeper and deeper into the woods. At the edge of the tree line before you, you see a clearing. It's bathed in moonlight and the fog. That mist seems to return. It was almost something you didn't realize. Once leaving that ditch of horses, it sort of dissipated momentarily, and now it seems to have returned within these woods.
I hate to feel this fog. Just clings to you.
Yes.
Those creatures that we saw, I guess, was that still today?
Which creatures? There's so many.
The ones that were flying in the air. Nothing like anything I've seen in a zoo.
Oh God, yeah. I don't even know what to call those. They're like like a fish.
A fish fog, a bug thing.
Petra, did you see those?
Yes, briefly. That was before the cultists came.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm wondering, those things, I've never seen anything like those before, and I think that the fog has something to do with them. And I'm going to can I do an occult roll?
Fuck yeah, you can.
Or Cthulhu Mythos, I guess?
You can do whichever. Yeah, Cthulhu Mythos actually would make the most sense.
All right, and I'm going to use a thing.
XP.
XP.
I gave you free advantage, I think, for doing something. Didn't I?
You gave me the advantage for running.
Throwing the rock?
Definitely. Throwing the rock.
Yeah, I thought I said you can use advantage. I can't remember now, but yeah, go for that.
All right. Come on, show me the money. No money. Damn it.
No money.
Nope. No
Okay.
money.
So yeah, you take a second to sort of examine the fog, and I will tell you there's a presence about it. Something about it feels off. as it has from the beginning. It feels foreign to you in a way. And as you're standing there in the fog, you see those blinking lights, those same ones that you saw at the Patterson residence. There's maybe 7 of them in the woods, and it's only now that you sort of stop and adjust your eyes, you pick them out from between the slats of fog.
Who knows what could be hiding?
It came with the grinners last time.
How do we even know that we're going the right direction?
We don't. I don't know that there is a right direction at this point. I mean, I think we're on the path that leads away from the house, and right now that's good enough for me. I don't know.
Okay, well, maybe we can look around, take stock, see if there's anything around here. And as I direct my attention away from the mist, I'm going to do a spot hidden.
Sure.
Booyah! That is 60, which is a success.
What?
You?
I guess.
Fine.
Actually, quick question.
Yeah.
We leveled up this week.
Yes, you did.
And I didn't roll for Cthulhu Mythos to upgrade that. Can I upgrade that?
Yes.
Okay.
Neither did I.
Well, you can upgrade it when you use it, and you did. Did you use it?
I thought you let us upgrade it or roll to upgrade it when we meet a new kind of monster.
But that was how you created it. But to upgrade it, you have to still use it in game. I don't remember if you.
I did.
Yeah,
I did use it in game.
Then you can upgrade it, baby.
Before those monsters.
Yeah, you do notice something. I'm gonna say, Cedric, you find something that your mother sort of told you about. It's like a berry, like a fruit, something that grows in the woods. And this is a bit of a sanity booster that you can sort of share with the others. Maybe eat some. Why don't you take us through that?
Okay. So there is a particular type of herb, and I'm going to rely on the community for the name of it. Cedric can't really remember the name, but as he's walking through the trail, he kind of looks down at the underbrush, and he sees a plant that looks familiar. A plant that his mother, in one of her moments of kindness when she'd taken him on a walk, which was a very rare occasion, stooped down and told him that this plant has, if you chew on it, it's got these little berries that if you chew on them, they kind of have like a piney taste, and they'll wake you right up. They don't taste very good, but if you weren't able to get your morning coffee, then they'll do the trick, is what I remembered her saying. And I didn't really know what coffee was like at the time, but I'd rather take the coffee over this, but this might help.
Perfect, yeah. And you walk over and you pick a few sprigs, and sort of walking back over to Yan and Petra, you see both of them real dour and drained. Petra especially sort of has this glazed look in her eye, as if she's sort of just lost in her own mind.
Trillium. It's a trillium. I guess they're not really berries, but it's like the little nubs on the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's Carly's suggestion. Thank you, Carly. I like it.
Provincial flower of Ontario.
Mm-hmm. A place to grow.
I used to think it was illegal to pick those.
Probably is.
Well, we're not in Ontario. We are in the northeast
Massachusetts.
states.
Are you guys eating it, Ian and...
Yeah, if Cedric walks up with half of that story, I think Jan's just going to put it in his mouth and chew and start sort of pondering the rest of the darkness out there, and take a minute to catch his breath.
And Petra, you see Cedric walk up and sort of hand you this. How does Petra react?
She holds out her hand and accepts the berries and picks one up and sort of examines it. Then looks at Cedric and then looks at the berry again. Like very carefully puts one in her mouth and chews it tentatively.
And you feel this sort of warmth. I know trillium berries don't taste like this, and they're probably poisonous, but let's just say that it sort of has this feeling in your mouth. I mean, the last time you guys had food of any kind, was a while ago.
We had sandwiches given to us by a murderous bitch.
That's right, you did. So, but this sort of like robust taste, this delicious tart berry sort of just it runs down your spine, and you can see sort of Cedric smiling, like excitedly giving it to you. And anyone who eats it can heal 1d6 sanity.
Ooh.
We'll say with a minimum of 3.
Stock up on it. We just like go
watch me roll one.
Well, I'm gonna say with a minimum of 3, so you can do 1d6.
1d6.
Yeah.
I got a 6.
I got a 2.
So you're gonna have 3 sanity.
Okay, I got 3.
3 sanity.
You're clawing her back to reality. She don't want to go. I don't want
And as you are sort of enjoying yourself for the first time in, this evening, the mist parts and you see at the edge of the tree line ahead of you on the far side of the clearing, you see what looks to be a stone building. Large stone slabs, square rectangle slabs sort of just appear on the edge of the mist for a moment and then disappear once again.
That's got to be the place, right? What else could it be?
Well, might as well check it out.
Petra,
right.
you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay.
And I glance down at the gun. Is she ready? Are you ready, Petra?
I'll be ready.
Okay, sick. Sorry, I don't actually say sick. I nod knowingly, glancing down at the gun, and then back up and start making my way toward the building, fists clenched.
She sort of like readies it and then conceals it like in her coat.
And at first it looks like maybe a windmill of sorts, or at one point it might have been, but now it sort of looks like a watchtower, this cylindrical building that reaches up towards maybe half of the tallest trees that surround it, at least 2 or 3 stories inside. It overlooks a thick, murky bog that lays just beyond it, and as you approach, you see large wooden spears sticking out of the window and around the base, all pointed up, jagged as if protection. They're protruded from the ground, a rudimentary defense of sorts, and they surround the entire base of the building and out the 2 windows. On top, there looks to be sort of a haphazard wooden balcony nailed to the top widow's walk that overstretches both the bog behind and the way you approach. And a small set of stone stairs leads to a thick door branded with iron. It looks like something almost from the Middle Ages, and it makes your mind wonder. As you approach, you see through the slat of the door and underneath glowing light from within.
Like firelight or something eerie?
It looks like firelight.
Okay.
How do we want to do this?
We've had
With honesty. Go ahead, sorry.
We've had sort of middling luck with just walking up and knocking on the door.
Are you saying we should kick it down?
No.
I'll take middling luck today.
It's gotten us this far.
All right.
Jan will walk up to the door and knock on it, or if there's a knocker or anything that makes him. noise, he will do that.
Yeah, and as you approach, you make it about 10 steps to the front door, and you see a slat open. And you can't quite see in the darkness, but you see the light from within, the flickering firelight, sort of shine behind and shuts. Do you continue up to the front door?
Oh, hold on. I'm going to do a spot hidden. I'm going to check for traps.
Great idea.
Is that... If she's got those precautions in place, what's to say she wouldn't put a little tripwire on those steps, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, shit! That is not a success.
Yeah, you don't see nothing. Yan, you gonna keep walking?
I think when I see the door open and maybe just I'm a little stunned, so it gets shut before I get to Miss Mosley? Miss Mosley, is that you? And just like pause and wait for an answer to see if I can get. We've traveled so far and it's been so horrible, and right now I think you're the only one who can help us. If that's you, I mean, we don't mean you any harm.
Give me a charm roll.
Sure. I'm gonna get some luck or an XP, or I'm gonna throw it on XP.
XP.
How do we feel about that? We like that. Yeah, we're a success.
36?
36.
Nice. Yeah, you sort of hear some movement behind it. Actually, give me a listen roll. Let's hear what you.
Sure. I got ears as well. Well, that'll be a fail.
Yeah, you don't hear none. But after a moment, you hear a heavy lock slide on the door, and it swings open, bathing the dim area that the three of you stand in firelight. For a second, you realize how dark the outside is compared to the fire. Your eyes have adjusted to it so well over the last hour or so that you've completely forgotten. And for a moment, as you sort of shield yourself from the light, your eyes blur before they settle on a small figure draped in cloth. It covers their sort of face like a bandana, and they wear thick circular glasses, and they point a shotgun at you.
My name's Jan Cotton. This is Cedric and Petra, and you. I don't know if you'd believe the tale that led us to your door, but I hope you could just listen to it and give us that much. It's gonna, what you choose to do with that shotgun afterwards is up to you.
Please, ma'am. We've been bitten, stabbed, and thrown down a hill. I don't want to be shot today.
And she, you can tell it's a she because it's Mrs. Mosley, sort of waves you in with the shotgun, sort of like gestures in with a curt nod, and then steps back, but with keeping the gun trained on you. As you enter the stone tower base, does anyone want to give me one person give me a spot hidden as they enter?
This is Cedric's jam.
Cedric.
Jam. Sandwich jam.
All right. I'll do it, guys. Okay, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Do it! You're
got
really
this.
great today.
Peer pressure? Well, not the last roll. I'm kind of all over the board. Yeah. Hard success.
Yeah, as you enter, you look down and realize you're walking over a sign that's been carved into the stone beneath the door. And what's that?
There's a sign carved into the...
Like a symbol.
Oh, I see. Oh.
Wipe your feet before entry. Yeah, it's like a symbol, a sigil carved in there.
Okay, now does it look like any of the symbols that we've seen? Like
no.
Okay.
Sort of looks like a star.
I'm going to point it out and say, if you don't mind me asking, what's with the symbol?
And she pulls down her handkerchief, and you see, this wrinkled face, sort of a gummy face. She says, "Don't you mind. Come in and shut the door."
Yes, ma'am. I close the door behind us.
And with a heavy
Can I roll occult on that?
Yeah, I mean, you didn't see it, so he just pointed it out. But you can see it. It's sort of beneath the shut door. But you can check after. Maybe. She might kill you.
What?
I'm just teasing. I mean, you're going to stop and like go back and be like, well, what can I look under the door?
If it was inside.
No, it's under the jamb of the door. Strawberry jelly. And so yeah, you enter the stone tower, and immediately you see sort of a circular room. There's a small crackling iron fire, stove top type thing, with a tiny little door and a stack of wood next to it. There's a rocking chair, a writing desk, a set of curved stairs that lead to the second floor, and a small cot with someone lying on it. Person lying on the cot you recognize as Slim Whitman's bodyguard, the man who shook your hand the first night you played cards with him, a man that you've come to realize is named Henry McFarland. There's a bandage around his head, and behind him is a woman. Anna Stanzik stands there, looking tired and nervous. She sort of nods to you and then to Mrs. Mosley and says, "It's okay, Mrs. Mosley. They're trustworthy. You can put the gun away."
What the hell are you doing here?
Well, it's a bit of a long story. And as she goes to talk, you hear a set of footsteps on the floor above. And before you can react, you see Deputy Patterson walk down the steps, wrapped in a blanket. He's wearing long johns, and he looks frightfully cold. His face is white and pale. You've never seen this man in public, but you've seen him from pictures that at his wife's house or at his home. And he sort of sits on the step and says, "Well, you vouched for them, so who are they, Anna?" And she says, "Well, Henry trusted them, but I guess how the hell did you guys get here as well?"
Where to even start? We ran from the grinners and a monster in a cornfield. We fell down a hill and found a path. We knew the path led here because we were trying to figure out what was happening. Before that, the boy, there were dreams.
Deputy Patterson.
And he sort of says, "Yeah. How did you know?"
Oh, no.
I have some terrible news.
And at first he's sort of a bit doubtful and perplexed, and then all of a sudden his face sort of gets serious and he says, "Is my boy okay?"
I don't know.
And Geneva?
Your wife is dead.
He just sort of doesn't move for a long moment, and everyone downstairs sort of shares a nervous look. Well, rather, Anna and Mrs. Mosley. And the cup that he's holding, some hot liquid broth maybe, he throws it against the stone wall as a cascade of sort of water splashes along it, and he walks back up the stairs. And Anna and Miss Mosley sort of share a nervous look again between each other and then back to you. And Mrs. Mosley's like, "Well, that was blunt." And she turns around and throws another log in the fire.
There was nothing we could have done.
I'm sorry, I just had to say something.
No, it's fine. It's better for him to know. Listen, we don't know what the next step is. We've survived this long, and that's as good as we can really hope for, but we need to find a way to stop what's going on.
And Anna sort of nods wide-eyed and says, "You don't know the half of it." She turns to Mrs. Mosley and says, "Can you watch Henry for a second? I'm going to take them upstairs." And she's like, "Meh." And she leads you upstairs, and it's clear that Deputy Patterson has gone to the top floor, as this area is sort of a dining area. There's a table with 2 chairs at it. It sort of has one of the widow's walks that overlooks the bog and a glass enclosure. There's also a steel gate, a big large piece of steel that looks like it can be dropped down in front of the widow's walk for protection of some sort. Anna lights a candle as you move upstairs and gestures to the table for you guys to sit down. I remember you three from the Dreamlands. I'm sorry that we couldn't be there when you woke up.
That's all right.
Which time?
Well, I don't know. Just the one, I guess. Last time I saw you, I was holding the obelisk and trying to fight whatever lay inside, and I was naive to think that I could.
Yes.
Yes, and I touched your shoulder.
I appreciate that. You saved my life and revealed a great deal of information about what the obelisk is. Henry and I, we hid when they arrived. Luckily he didn't touch the obelisk. He was still awake when the boat crashed. Slim passed away, but he followed us, I guess, to the basement and took me out of the ship. When I woke, he had been tracking the direction that the people took the obelisk in, north, into the woods. When I finally came to, he filled me in on what had happened, that he had seen some people arrive at the beach, take the obelisk away on a flatbed, but again, north we moved through the woods until we eventually came to swamplands just north of here. And suddenly her face gets very serious and she says, we were attacked by something I've never seen before, something that I never thought I would see. Mrs. Mosley calls it the wretch, and that is what it is.
The wretch?
Some inhuman creature, something. And she sort of shakes her head and says, it doesn't matter. Well, it will, because we need to figure out a way to... They took the obelisk somewhere north of here. There are ruins, Mrs. Mosley told us. Look, Henry and myself, we have been doing this for a little while now. It doesn't matter the ins and outs of why or how, but suffice it to say that we were sent by a friend of ours, Henry Armitage, to make sure that the obelisk got back to Egypt. We booked passage on that trip by working for Slim under the guise of being his secretary and bodyguard to make sure that the obelisk landed back where it belongs. It isn't just a stone. It isn't just a thing. It is a prison. It is a prison for something powerful beyond measure. The most powerful thing that probably has ever existed. Something that's been trapped in that cocoon-like prison for millions of years. And these people want to open it.
Why? Oh, these people as in the Grinners.
Not just the Grinners. The people who lead the Grinners.
The cult?
And she sort of looks a bit... She debates in her mind for a moment, says, led by my father, Conrad. Yes. This creature that lives within this prison, its name is Azathoth. It is said to have existed before all time, that it was there at the creation of the universe, and it is written that if Azathoth wakes up, all of existence, everything we know, the entirety of life beyond the stars and on the earth and everything in between will instantly cease to exist.
Now, why on earth would they want to release something that would cause every last one of them to stop existing? And the rest of the world, mind you.
I don't know. I have to believe that my father is under some kind of spell, some type of power, a dominating power, the same resistance that Henry gifted you three and myself, an ability to resist any sort of outside force imposing its will upon us. I have to believe that my father would never do this, never in a million years, but for whatever reason he is.
Do you know anything about the Black Stone?
And her eyes grow wide. Yes. That's one of the keys. There are 3 of them.
Yes, the red and the gray.
Yes. Those 3 stones are needed to open the prison.
And do you know that the red stone is used to control people?
No. Where did you learn that?
From a boy. We learned it from a boy.
Look, I don't know how much of this you need to know or how much you want to know, but I need your help. We all need your help.
Even if the stone got back, even if the obelisk got back to Egypt like you'd originally hoped, what good does that do? It's just now in a different place. Why couldn't they unleash this beast there? Like, what is the actual plan?
This tomb, this prison that holds this god, it needs a... And she sort of debates within herself. I can only theorize so much. I can only guess at what's happened. But whatever put this creature in a prison, a 1,000,000-year-old prison, had a lot of fail-safes to make sure it would stay there. One of it being where it's opened. This lodge key area, for some reason, it's older than time itself. The ruins they speak of, they thought they meant before Plymouth Rock, before people landed here. No. Before that, well before that. I'm talking about when the earth was one piece. Before the tectonic plates shifted, before all of this place existed. These pieces of land within this swamp are miles deep beneath the surface. This is where this thing landed. And it can't be opened until a certain set of criteria are here. One, that it has arrived home. And I guess the other 3, that the stone is in place.
The 3 stones, they're like keys, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you know where all of them are?
No. I knew where one was.
So...
What happened?
I never was in possession of it. A friend of Henry's sent it back from Egypt. It was a gray stone. It was transported in a package to another. It doesn't matter. I don't know where the stones are.
Okay. How close do you think they are to unlocking this prison? I mean, if they don't have the stones, then...
For all I know, they could have all 3 stones.
Well, if they did, then we wouldn't be here right now, right?
That's my takeaway. Because the obelisk is clearly in place. They had a day to bring it home.
We have a drawing of one. I'm not sure if that will help.
Who drew it?
The little boy who told us about the stones.
Did he know where it was?
He didn't want to say. Because he was afraid if he told us all he knew, he would then be expendable.
But he knew where it was?
I got the impression he knew something more than he told us for sure.
That means that if they can find out what that boy knows, and they can retrieve the stone, everything is lost.
They have the boy.
Yeah, they do.
Then all we can hope is that they don't know what he knows. If he's a smart enough boy, then maybe he can keep his mouth shut.
He's a pretty wily kid, but he's a child. 10.
Pun intended, because his name is Sammy Wiley. And she just sort of sits in her chair thinking for a moment.
You say that you need our help. What do you need our help to do? Do you have a task in mind that will help us stop or delay this Azathoth?
We need to stop it. If they have the stones, we need to take them. If we have to kill my father, we have to stop all this from happening.
Okay, so there's a couple things there. So we have to kill your father. We have to stop it from happening. Do you want us to find out the situation? I mean, we could act as like a spy. We're not going to be able to do all this ourselves.
No.
But if we can figure out, divide and conquer, figure out who's got to do what.
It doesn't matter either way, because there are pieces of information we don't know. Number one, this Lodge Key section is miles upon miles of swamp, a civilization older than time itself, from what Mr. Mosley thinks. Even if we could spend a year navigating each and every one of these ruins, we have no idea where they brought the obelisk.
They dragged a giant-ass stone there, though. It's a swampland. There's only going to be so many places you can get a truck with a giant stone into this swamp. There can't be, it can't be so many that they can just not get stuck somewhere or not leave a trail. We've got to be able to find something.
I don't think we're dealing with people who were not thinking about this for years. This was well planned out.
Sure.
And she sort of debates herself. I'm not even sure we're dealing with human.
Let's just Google map it. Satellite view.
What is this? What?
Google?
So
Petra, you hit your head hard, didn't you?
Googly boogly mooble.
My God. Some type of service where you could just ask questions like, what type of berry is this? And then it spits out the answers on some machine that computes all of this information at once and sends it to you over some sort of web of information. And
Cedric, you need to quit dreaming about that fantasy and ground yourself in reality. We have a stone with a god in it, and that's real, and we need to deal with the real now.
Okay.
Stop shouting!
All I'm saying is we don't have the time, and we have no way of finding where this thing is.
So what do we know? What can we do?
We know that the gray stone will show us the location of other artifacts, right?
Sounds familiar.
We know that they're in the Lodge Key ruins. You seem pretty certain about that.
Somewhere within the Lodge Key ruins, but they've been categorized as library, housestead. There's miles and miles of various pieces, and so much of it is uncovered.
Why were you attacked by the wretch?
Well, that's the other thing. This creature, Mosley thinks it protects this cult. These grinners, it stalks the swamps. And it did. Henry and I both. He unloaded, 7-8 rounds directly into it without a scratch. It needs... I don't know. I don't even know where it came from. We don't know anything about it.
Well, we have some theories.
Well...
Could it be interrogated?
No. This thing is inhuman. It's otherworldly. What theories?
Half human.
What theories do you mean?
Part of the detective's research, we sort of put a couple of pieces together. Talked to the farmer last time.
We know the name of its mother.
Its mother.
We know where it was born.
Catherine McCarthy.
Was its mother?
Yes.
Yeah.
You'll have to speak with the deputy about that. We didn't know anything about this other than the fact that it killed Mrs. Mosley's husband. I don't think anyone's been able to understand that.
Well, maybe if we put together some of the locations in its history, maybe it's possible those locations correlate with something in the Lodge Key.
The fishing lodge, or the doctor's cabin nearby. That was why we were coming to find Miss Mosley. she was supposed to know the way there. That was where. That was. Oh, I banged my head so hard today. Wasn't that where it was born?
This thing was born at a fishing cabin? Yes. Talk to Mrs. Mosley about that. There could be information there. Okay. So and she sort of stands up and says, okay, if it had a birthplace, then yes, maybe we can find a way to kill it. But we still don't know where. Within Lodge Key this obelisk was taken.
Curiouser and curiouser.
And she sort of sits down and says, let me think. You should speak with the deputy or Mrs. Mosley.
Or both, probably.
Well, you choose. Who do you want to speak to first?
Thank you. We should go talk to the deputy, at least to let him know that he was onto something.
Yeah. You don't think he needs more time?
Maybe he needs a little closure. We could at least tell him that she was valiant.
Yeah.
She wants to mention the head ripping off.
No.
Who wants to hear that? And as you ascend the steps to the deputy, you see him sitting in the corner on a pile of like a sack of potatoes with the blanket wrapped around his shoulders. And he looks up towards you and says, we have a lot of work to do. And we're going to stop there for the mid-game post. Hello. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time where we stop the action and we jump to you, the community. But first and foremost, welcome. It is Call of Cthulhu Game 2, Part 9erino.
The penultimate episode.
That's right. We are right near the end. And I hope you guys are having fun. I'm having a great time. You guys are doing great. This is going to be some exciting fun. This is, of course, an 18-plus show, if you're not aware. There's been a lot of head ripping and dead horses, so, warning's a little bit late.
Yeah.
We're going to make so much glue.
So much glue for
horses. No.
And we are going to be finishing this next week. I'm really excited and sad about doing this, but it's going to be a great ending. These guys are doing so great. What a wonderful job you did, Petra.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, 18 plus. If you are watching this on YouTube, please give it a thumbs up right now. It makes us feel really good. Also, make sure you join the Facebook group. The Facebook group is where we get together. We have a laugh. We have a lark. We share. And when you're part of the Facebook group, you have a chance to win the mid-game post. The mid-game... most valuable post.
Most valuable.
Most valuable post is the post of the week that we distinguish amongst the rest. And we say, hey, you done good, and you get XP for it. And this week, I'd like to give it to Terry Erickson for his post... Scary Kids TV Shows, where he asked what were the scariest TV shows.
Yay!
Which was a really, really great post. Well done, Terry. That was a lot of fun. What else do we have to do? Other things?
Mid-game? No mid-game. That's not a thing anymore.
Mid-game.
Talk about our little fun time.
Oh, yeah!
I want to talk about that.
What a blast.
I'm feeling sick. You talk about that.
Oh, I would love to. So this past weekend, Justin, Harlan, and myself all were at the wonderful Chronicle Brewing Company. If you want to see some of the photos from the event, we have posted them on our Facebook account. Thank you again to Erin. Do we use her middle name or her last name for kudos?
Who?
Erin.
Oh,
the photographer.
I don't know. Just say Erin, photographer.
Thank you, Erin, for taking the photo. She did an amazing job. She's a great photographer. We had a wonderful time. We had a crew of people playing Dragon Age with Justin, and my Sherlock Holmes, 4 Sherlock Holmeses and a vampire who is also one of the aforementioned Sherlock Holmeses game did not fill, so I helped Harlan run End of the World. We did a Disneyland theme. It was fucking awesome.
It was a lot of fun.
Space Mountain versus
Thunder Mountain.
Thunder Mountain.
Yeah.
Space Mountain forever.
Thunder Mountain forever. Woo!
No, it was really fun. The guys at Chronicle. We were hanging out there with Ted. He was serving up tons of delicious beer. We had an amazing time. Stayed entirely too late. Drank a lot of beer. Ate a lot of popcorn. Did you have some of the jerky? I think I saw you eating jerky.
I did. I did a big bag of jerky. It was delish.
And if you are in the area at the end of the month, they are going to be having an anniversary party. I believe we'll all be there. They have trucks coming. I'm going to eat some pizza.
Pizza.
Oh, Justin, talk.
What is Justin?
I don't know if you can see it.
Oh.
It's on my calendar.
It's on your calendar.
There.
27th of April, be there. There'll be live music all day. Bring your family, bring your dogs, bring your liver, bring your alcohol dehydrogenase. You're going to need it.
Dehydrogenase?
Alcohol dehydrogenase.
Is that Latin?
It's an enzyme.
Beer hat?
Yep. Bring your beer hat.
But yeah, that was,
thank you to them.
And thank you to and I was gonna say, if you are a Patreon supporter at the $10 or more tier, which Megan is now.
Welcome back, Megan.
Welcome back, Megan. You can see the video that we did for this month's undefeated level. You get to see a behind-the-scenes look at what Chronicle is all about and all that kind of stuff. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
They are building this gorgeous upstairs event space that I'm very excited to take advantage of in the future.
Me too.
They're getting some new furniture too for the anniversary, which is so exciting.
I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I think they're getting new tables and chairs, I think. So it's like a double whammy.
Gen Con news. We have our tickets. We have our Airbnb reservation. We're basically all set to go. Very excited. As we mentioned before, Harlan and I will be co-GMing a game on Wednesday, the 3rd of August in the morning, and then each of us will be running our own separate games in the afternoon on the 3rd. So we'll be running games on Saturday, but we'll be around on the Friday. Justin's coming with. And I believe that game registration is going to open on the 12th of May for those of you who are interested. Again, as Harlan mentioned before, we're going to be giving our Patreon supporters a little bit of a heads up, give you guys the inside track on the games that we're going to be running so you can sign up early and reserve a seat if you really want to play Call of Cthulhu with Harlan, or if you want to play the Princess Party scenario that Harlan and I have been writing together. You'll be able to sign up to do that. Yeah, you play security at a Sweet 16.
Don't ruin it.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying. But that'll be D&D 5th edition. So come on down. We're really excited to meet you. And then on the Saturday night, we agreed Rob agreed that he would come out with us. So we're going to be running a pub night to be determined time and place, but Saturday night. That'll be the 3rd of August. So please join us in Indianapolis. I'm really excited.
How fun is that going to be? You, me, Justin, and Rob, all at a bar with all you fine folks at Gen Con.
Yeah.
I'll do a little in-universe post Call of Cthulhu game where you guys can all play alongside these 3 investigators. Like a 10-minute. What's it called? Where it's like what's it called when you write something but it's like officially licensed in fiction? It's called something. You know, like
you're the author.
No, I'm not. It's like someone writes a Star Wars fanfic, and then George Lucas is like, "Yeah, I approve." Canon. It'll be canon.
Canonical.
Well, that's just a more pretentious way of saying canon. More correct.
It's an adjective. It's not a noun.
You're an adjective.
What else was I gonna say? Oh, how much fun did we have in Buffalo?
So much fun. Like literally the most fun ever.
And we're gonna have a really great time at Gen Con. It's a huge convention, I hear. It'll be all of our first times going. I'm gonna buy some dice.
I don't need more dice, but I'm gonna buy some dice too.
Well, no one needs more dice.
I got so much.
Pretty much tradition for going to a convention, right? Is getting more dice.
Pretty much. Do you have any con traditions, Rob?
Do you have any con traditions that definitely, like, they're not so much at cons, but there is like if we're going to Queen City Conquest in Buffalo or anything, we stop at Mighty Taco just because it's I don't know. There's the whole TV show ad thing that Rach got way into. So now it's an excuse anytime we're driving through there to go to a convention or something, and we get a taco.
Nice. Do you have any for Gen Con?
For Gen Con, I haven't gone enough to have a tradition yet. I think this will be my third time, and it's been very different every time. So.
Well,
any tips and tricks?
I mean, no, man, I have no idea. I'm clueless. It'll be go and enjoy it. Look at all the spectacle. Bring money to buy cool things. You'll buy more things than you expect.
Is it like? Should it be like a casino where you like set like your amount?
Probably that's. It was the biggest. It wasn't the biggest like convention floor hall I've been on, but it was the one with the most like hit rate of like, oh, I'm interested in that and that and that.
Cool.
And it was one of those where it was like huge and everything was interesting.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's gonna be a big like year for me to like buy things.
Nice.
Like I don't have a lot of like decoration in this room. I got a blue thing.
You got a blue thing.
Got a bulletin board.
Everybody loves a blue thing. Yeah, I mean, if
yeah, it's just I
What
put
is it?
my CDs on it. So this is a big.
CDs are really making a comeback.
It's you don't have a blue thing. It's where I put my unfucking filed CDs, my blank CDs,
Face down.
face down.
Yeah. So I like look at this spot like above my fireplace. I got a fireplace and I don't have anything above it. So I gotta start getting some like beautiful swag and like put.
It needs a sword over that fireplace. That's good.
Or a shield, or a big Invictus die.
Oh, yes. Can you get those at Gen Con?
I think so. Yeah.
Probably.
There'll be a whole booth.
Yeah. So, anyways.
And do like a whole makeover, like a home reno thing.
Please, yes.
Makeover,
We should do like a nerd makeover.
Mm-hmm.
Just like subscribe to Loot Crate.
Yeah.
What's that?
For like a year, and then
Just put a bunch of pop heads. What are those things called? Vinyl pops.
Pop.
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Anyways, I need shit like that because I got a lot of interest, but no way to. I don't show it. I just don't show it.
Do you want a painting? I'm moving, guys.
Yeah, as your background gets more sparse, Justin's gets more filled.
It'll just be full of my old stuff.
It's just funny. So we can keep that old background.
Funko Pop, that's it. I knew it.
What else do we have going on? I'm very excited for our Patreon supporters to receive the notes from the Call of Cthulhu campaign. Harlan, you said that you were only going to be providing people with them after the campaign's finished, so we've sort of been slowing down on the Patreon rewards for the past couple of months because the majority of the stream's been dedicated to this long form, and I'm excited for people to get all the treasure.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. The story, which is the story from Call of Cthulhu. No, it's not even Call of Cthulhu 1. It just sort of has a section that says this is where Call of Cthulhu 1 fits. But the story is everything in this campaign and the Witch's Mark takes up 10 pages. just like dates. 1889, this happens. 1890, this happens. Over in Leary, 1990, this happens. Or 1900, this happens. It's annoying.
Internal consistency.
You're telling me.
Long. That'd be so annoying to listen to like an audiobook of that.
Oh god, yeah.
It's like the Bible, like, and so begat so and so, and so begat so and so.
Yeah. Although this is real, unlike the Bible.
Happy Easter.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm celebrating. Happy Easter. So one other thing that we've got going on, Harlan wrote a book. I'm sure you've heard by now. We've been uploading audiobook versions of all the chapters, although I was not able to get to it today. But if you want to check it out, please. We've got 2 different formats. You can find it on Royal Road Legends, where Harlan is releasing a chapter per day.
Royal Road Legends? This is called Royal Road, isn't it?
It's Royal Road Legends, technically, I think. People in the know call it RRL.
I don't know.
anyways, royalroad.com. You can find it. It's called The Code. It's up to chapter 14. 15 will drop tomorrow, and narrations are going along with it on the YouTube channel. So keep your ears waxed for that.
And you know, yeah, and you've had some good feedback on your narrations. It's really sweet. It says someone commented the other day and said, "More please, thank you." And then someone commented today and said, "More please."
You guys are so talented.
Succinct.
Just like maybe they're just 4-year-olds. Just like,
and then
more please.
More.
It's not appropriate for 4-year-olds.
And then I commented back and I said, "Plenty to come." And then that person said, "I be wanting then. Thanks."
Okay.
I be wanting them. Thanks.
Yar.
So you're very popular in the pirate demographic.
That's who we were targeting.
That was the entire goal. I didn't know you did.
Pirates need something to read.
Hey, some people have read it.
Shove the whole book into a bottle and just throw it into the ocean.
Look, Mike said book is so good. That's sweet. Colin said I still want to read that. Carly said it's been so good. Oh, you guys are sweet. Well,
you guys are amazing. Thank you, Carly, for leaving the review as well. It's nice.
Yes, and
anybody.
I was just about to say
anybody who does.
Just do it.
If anybody wants to leave a review, Harlan,
hey, please do.
It really helps both of us out in terms of getting just the story out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, leave a review. Let us know what you think.
Do it.
Follow us, all that stuff on royalroad.com.
And it won't be dropped.
It won't be dropped.
It's already done.
We won't drop it.
So it can't be dropped.
We got it in that spoon, and we are watching that spoon. We are taking our time with it.
Yep. So read it out. Give it a 5-star review.
Oh, I'm gonna be in a music video at the end.
What?
Of it. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that because I'll be posting it. But I'm gonna be in a race in the music video, a foot race.
Are you gonna win?
There's a script for it, so if I do, it'll be the race will be what's it called?
No, Joe, no.
Predetermined.
No, Joe.
There's a egg on spoon component.
Amazing.
Wow, what are the
very
odds?
excited.
What are the odds?
Is it still the same date you were filming it?
It's like I think the 4th, the 5th of May.
It's been confirmed?
Yeah. I don't know which day. It depends on the weather. Sorry?
Is it Easter related?
No.
I wish.
Around that time, eggs. I'll be right back. I'm going to get a glass of wine.
Go for it. Connect 4.
I'll have one, please. Please?
Please?
Guys, my fucking apartment is just trash right now. Can I just show you for a second? There's just boxes on boxes. It's looking rough over here. I kept it kind of nice in my background, but it's fake nice. I'm lying to you.
Pulling back the curtain.
Yeah.
That's just how you live all the time.
You can sort of see a little corner of like bullshit right there, but
You get the Lysol wipes. That's the most important thing.
That's right. I figured out yesterday that this is my 9th move in Toronto.
Oof.
And I moved here 14 years ago. So I've had a few.
Got it down to a science now?
Well, not a science so much as I just grin and bear it. My favorite move ever was when my brother, my then boyfriend, and we were all living in an apartment together. And I was moving out by myself because I had split up with my partner, my boyfriend. And my brother was moving back to Waterloo to go back to university. And then I don't know where my boyfriend was going. Didn't matter. But my brother procrastinates so badly that day of the move, he hadn't packed anything yet.
Oh, no.
And when my dad showed up with the 12-foot truck or 18-foot truck or whatever, my brother was still asleep.
Oh, boy.
He had resisted all of my efforts, and finally I was just like, you're a fucking adult. We were probably 20 and 21. And my mom comes upstairs. We were on the 19th floor of a condo, so we had to book out the elevator and everything. This had to happen now. We just got trash bags, and we started throwing things in the trash bags and just hauling them down the hallway.
Oh shit.
It's rough, but it happened.
That sounds
really stressful.
terrible. Yeah.
So this move is going to be much better than that, and at least you're not.
I already got the trash bags ready for when I show up and she's not done. I'm like,
I brought my first 2 boxes over to Harlan's house this past weekend, and I was like, I pulled up into the driveway. I was like, Harlan, I'm here. Blah blah. I just got a car too. So I made him watch me pull the first 2 boxes out of my car and bring them into his house. And I was like, yay!
Nice.
We're moving in.
and I had this face.
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't.
When is the big move? When is it?
In bits and pieces for the next month.
Gotcha.
I will be officially doing the Invictus stream from Harlan's place in the next episode after next week, so 2 weeks from now.
All right. Well, let me know if you do a big move day. Let me know, and I will try to make myself available to help.
Yeah, we'd love
But not a medium move day. Justin doesn't come into Toronto for a medium move day.
Better be big.
Not a medium.
Go
A big
big,
move.
go home.
If you have to move chair, I'll be there.
I'll move chair for you.
Have you guys seen that Friends clip where it's the intro song to Friends, but the claps never stop?
So
It's
no
just
one
laughing
told
through
you life was gonna be this way.
So fucking good. Job's a joke, you broke. Na, 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 na. It goes out of sync slightly over
Yeah.
time. Just
Oh
gets
no.
This is
Can we
always
play that for the stream after we're done?
Maybe we'll get copyright stricken.
Yeah.
Stroked,
Yeah,
stroked.
Did you post it in Facebook?
I will. Post it in the Facebook.
Okay.
All right, you cats ready to roll?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we return to Call of Cthulhu. You see the deputy, and he looks up towards you. His mind sort of processing what has just been told to him, but you can tell his expression and his actions speak to one of action. He's in trouble 2 words into that. And he sort of nods and says, did you at least... Did she know that I... it doesn't matter. We have work to do. So far as I could tell, I was trying to map out everything that happened before this ship washed up on shore. I was on a few leads. I wish I had my file with me. But basically, I had imagined there was a cult in town, and I was pulling at strands to sort of piece together a rough timeline.
You were pretty close from what we've been able to piece together, since we did find your notes. They were very helpful.
Well, there's still some holes in it. Luckily, I got to speak with Anna after I arrived here. I took Will Conway and tried to drive down to Arkham, but we got hit with a wall of fog. On our way back to the car, this shooting pain came over us, and when I had looked up again, Will had turned into one of those things. A grinner.
Shit.
Yeah. He was vicious, malicious, insane. He wanted to eat my flesh and cut my... I had to kill him, but he also said that he was serving the obelisk, that he worked on his own merit, but that he still had a job to do. It was dark. This is the timeline as much as I can tell. I think it was the late 1880s when Anna's dad, Conrad, he arrived in Leary and started some cult. He and Cornelius Gray hired a bunch of workers and had them killed when the job was done. They built some machine deep in the swamp. Then nothing happened for a while, and in 1905, that McCarthy girl gets nabbed by who I'm guessing is the cult. And a year later, her body is discovered. But that investigation was botched too. Why she was taken, I have no idea.
Yeah. We think it has to do with the wretch out there.
The wretch? Why do you think it has something to do with that?
We spoke to, was her father?
We spoke with the father of Catherine McCarthy, and he told us everything that he knew. He talked about her coming home pregnant after being missing, saying that she had escaped, that people had taken her, and that Earl Larson and he took her out to his fishing cabin, that she died before the thing was born, and it was no infant.
Jesus Christ. Well, that makes a little bit more sense then. But what the hell it was, the cult must have impregnated her with some creature. Why, I don't know. I guess it's some sort of defense. Anyway, 15 years later, Mr. Mosley finds the ruins, stumbles across them, and winds up dead. They, I guess, wanted to stay hidden. Any further poking was met with death or missing as well. And then in 24, we found this guy showed up overnight rambling of the father and lodge key. I didn't realize at the time what he was talking about. I'm not a local from here. We call this area the Red Marshes, but lodge key. People go missing, and then the ship washes up on shore and everything goes to shit. I spoke with Anna, and she thinks that they brought the obelisk up here somewhere in Lodge Key, but again, there's so many spaces within it. Mosley has scouted most of them, but even so, it could be right under our noses. There could be a secret. I mean, it sounds insane.
Did you talk with Mrs. Mosley?
Yeah.
And she has no clue, even though she's been living here her whole life, presumably?
The thing is, these places, there's tons of them. There's ruins where it looks like people used to hold big bonfires. There's Colosseum-esque things deep within the marshes, sunken down. There's catacombs that span beneath them. There's layers upon layers upon layers. Without knowing, we can't even narrow it down. We just think that they brought them up here to the swamps.
Well, we think the wretch is involved somehow with them. We know the wretch has something to do with this fishing cabin. Maybe there's something there that'll lead us to it, and it can maybe lead us to wherever the hell these things are. They took the obelisk or something.
Well, I guess speak to Mosley. She knows the most about the wretch. She's the one who found it first. She's the one who saw it first. At the very least, she can guide you in the right direction.
You haven't come across any there's also all these symbols and letters and things. We saw you'd had some in your notes. We found a few others. Do you have any, was that ever related to anything, you think?
Oh, yeah, you found that.
Well, we found that one, and we've seen there was one on the back tattoo as a tattoo of one of the cultists. God, I've lost her name.
Emily.
Emily, yeah. And we've seen a few more turn up.
We have symbols for the letters C, O, D, V, A, and I.
You have all that?
Yeah.
Well, and he opens his wallet and he pulls out a piece of paper and he hands it to you. Good call, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to give you an advantage for that very smart line of questioning. Because you fully would have passed it. There you go. 2 letters. R and E.
Huh.
And he says, speak to Mrs. Mosley. He says, and good luck with trying to figure out whatever the hell that means. And
yeah.
He sits on a sack of potatoes again.
All right, well.
Who should we speak with next?
Well, there's only one lady.
Let's go talk to Miss Mosley. She's the reason we came here. Yeah, catacombs, suspicion cabin.
And you head down to the first layer, and she's putting wood in the fire. And she sort of looks at you and says, "Now, what do you want?"
Can't imagine a thing. A warm fire, maybe. Clean clothes if you got them.
Yeah, Mr. Mosley was about your height. And she walks onto the stairs and pulls back 2 stacks of clothes, one for Cedric, one for you, and then a stack of clothes for you as well. Petra.
What's your name?
It took me a while. She says,
Thank you.
There's a creature out there. Impedes everyone's progress into the swamp. It's guarding something. Buzzing, acts like a sentry. Can you hear it? She taps her ear and points to the window.
Does it sound like the sound that was in town?
You can't hear it right now. Give me a listen.
No, but it does, like, buzzing sounds very...
Are you asking her?
Yeah. Well, I'm just... When I was in town, I heard this buzzing sound. We were in a parking lot near the main street. Almost like blood pumping, but it was...
That's it.
Oh, good.
It's high above the clouds. Ever since this mist rolled in, it seems to move away from the swamp, but it still stays there. That's where its home is. This mist. She walks over to a small window and looks out past it. You can see the mist clinging to the swamp top, the bog that overlooks. She says, "They brought it here, this cult, for whatever reason. It's a bridge between worlds. Those things, those creatures, you've seen them. They've come over with it. Within the mist."
Glowing ones.
What?
The ones that glow and float through the air?
All of them. There's different types. Giant spiders, creatures, rats, glowing, floating, fish-like creatures.
Yeah, and a fucking rat. I got that one too.
They're all from another world. They brought it here, made it feel like home.
How are they getting here? If they're from another world, are they flying?
No, it's the mist. The fog out there. It blurs the boundaries. It walks between the lines. A creature can be slipping in one. Boy, these aren't normal creatures. They're from...
Mrs. Mosley, how long have you lived here in this swamp?
Oh. Me personally, all my life. Before that, my family. My husband's family.
I found a piece of paper in the house. It says the Lodge Key Catacombs. Is that a place that might speak to you in some way? Do you know of catacombs?
She sort of furrows her brow, which is unpredictable for her. She seems like a very confident, albeit sort of bizarre, a little crazy woman, but she sort of seems perplexed, almost stumped by it. Where did you find this?
In the mayor's house. moments before we were chased out of it by a terrifying monster and a daughter with a shotgun.
The father. You know that's Cornelius Gray himself. They keep him stashed up there, I swear. Man sold his soul. And she looks down at the piece of paper and takes it from your hands and walks over to her desk and studies it. This is old.
Maybe.
She like sniffs it. Typed on a typewriter. Made of death.
Yes. Maybe.
The Larch Key Catacombs. I've been to them only but once. They're deep within the swamp, the center. I never entered them. I think this might be the location that you're looking for. Deputy! She calls up and thumping footsteps come down, and he walks down and he says, What? I think your friends here have found where the obelisk lie. And she hands the piece of paper to him, and he studies it for a second. The black goat comes. It's a jumble. When you mix these around, how did you solve this? Where did you get this from?
It's been a hell of a day.
We took it from the mansion.
And Anna sort of walks over and takes it from him and says, I've seen this. I saw this in the dreamland. We both did. This was typed on a typewriter. The one in my father's basement, in my childhood home. I thought it said the black goat comes, but it's told us the location all along. We just read it wrong. And they sort of share a knowing look. Deputy Patterson turns to Mrs. Mosley. Mrs. Mosley, where is Earl Larson's... What cabin was it? A fishing cabin?
Yes, a fishing cabin.
And she sort of smiles. Oh, it's the only other place on the edge of the swamp. Haven't been there in years. Why you want to go there? She says and looks to the three of you.
Because that's where the wretch was born.
All right. I'll take you there. And, yeah, you can see the deputy and Anna sort of share a knowing look. Do you want them to come with you? What's the story?
Hell yeah, we need backup, right?
I don't know. The way she licked her lips there, I didn't like that. She was suspect. I know she's old, but...
Damn straight. She's old and cray-cray. Yeah. So, do you want to loot the place? What are you looking for?
Weapons.
We're gonna need everything we can take with us.
There is a large shotgun that is leaning beside Henry. By the way, is like not in a coma, but he's like passed out.
Yeah. So he got messed up by the wretch.
He got messed up real fucking bad. You want to give him medicine?
What does he look like?
What does Henry look like?
Mm-hmm.
He's got a large sort of bandage around his face, and it looks like he's missing an eye.
Those don't grow back.
Well, but yeah, if you want to give me some spot hiddens, what are you looking for? There is a shotgun that Henry was using that you can take. $100. You don't have to worry about that. That's yours.
I just ask, excuse me, Mrs. Mosley or Ms. Mosley.
It's Mrs. Mosley. Husband might be dead, but I'm still married.
Oh, pardon me. Is there any chance that you have any weapons lying around, things that we could use to, defend ourselves with? Go out there.
And she pushes you. And you sort of take a few steps back, and she flips back the carpet and lifts like a cellar door.
And it's the Matrix underneath.
Beneath the floor. No, there's like roll 1d6.
Me?
Yeah. You
okay.
This will be your final weapon.
This 5.
Oh, that sucks. It's a torch.
What?
Sorry.
She's like, I've got a stick.
Oh no, there's other things. There's other things there. You just can't have them. All right.
Gun?
If you want to spend an XP, I'll let you reroll.
Oh, yes. All right.
because there's some pretty fun
It's going to be another 5 watch. Okay, a 1.
Well, you already have the 45. Roll one more time.
Okay. Hit that for it. Another 1. A 2.
She reaches down into the darkness, and like it's sort of just a cellar that's dark, and she kind of comes up a few steps and then sticks a hand up, and she's holding like 3 sticks of dynamite tied together.
Fuck yeah!
Holy shit!
And she's like, I've had this for a while. Here, son, and she like hands it to you.
I wouldn't even know what to do with this.
You light it and you run. And she walks up and slams the cellar door, and she's like, "Are you ready to go?"
Well, we might actually need a lighter. We're gonna need something to light this with, and I don't.
And she like flicks a lighter and like holds it out open.
Oh,
jeez. Okay, all right.
And she's like, "That's a special one." And you look down on it in the lighter, and it says, "This too shall pass" on it.
And if I could borrow that shotgun there, we might be good to go.
I see you have a 45 millimeter down there. Do you have any extra ammo for it?
She gives you 1 clip of 7. So you now have the original clip of 7, the second clip of 7, that's 14 shots. You have a shotgun with 6 shots in it, and you have 3 sticks of dynamite that are taped together. You can separate them, but it'll be very risky. It's a bit bloomed.
Okay, I will not separate them.
Well, you can try it.
Is that a thing? Blooming dynamite?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad news.
Very bad news. The nitroglycerin gets like super sensitive. If you like knock, it'll blow up.
It's the whole premise of several movies.
Yeah. And an episode of Lost.
I don't watch movies.
Yes, you do.
That's fine.
I'm just kidding.
I seen you do it. All right.
Let's go to this fishing cabin.
So yeah, Anna, Deputy Patterson, Mrs. Mosley, and the 3 of you all leave.
Henry alone to choke on his vomit.
No, Chris is totally fine. That's Chris's character, by the way. He's like just lying there sleeping. If you all die, it's going to be a one-shot with just him about how he saves the world. So get ready for that.
The only thing he has is a torch.
Well, no, there's other things down there. He just rolled poorly. Not poorly. It's randomized.
That doesn't make sense.
What do you mean?
That there's other stuff down there, but we wouldn't get to take it?
Well, that's the point of chance. It's not supposed to be everything there. I didn't want to pre-write it. I wanted to give you an opportunity to have something better and something worse. Because, it could be a hatchet, it could be a stick of dynamite. Stick of dynamite's super OP. Hatchet's very not good. Middle ground. Lots of middle grounds. You head out to the edge of the swamp, and rather than cut through, you sort of border the edge. Small blooms of grass stick out from within, and the fog seems to cling along the surface as the 3 of you bring up the rear. Miss Mosley walks, twitching her head, sniffing the air, almost like an animal as she moves along the edge of the swamp. Deputy Patterson walks. You can tell he's in his own mind. He sort of twitches his head himself every once in a while, fighting the urges to feel one way or another. And Anna hangs back to the 3 of you. I'm surprised the 3 of you made it this far, and I'm glad you're with us. We were stuck there. And without your information, I don't know what we would do. Thank you.
Haven't done anything yet.
We almost didn't make it this far.
Thank you. I appreciate just being around normal people again.
Well,
hey.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. That came out wrong.
It's fine, Cedric. I get it.
if I don't make it through this, there's a friend of ours in Arkham, Henry Armitage, Dr. Henry Armitage. He works at the Miskatonic University in the library section. He's been working with myself and Henry and a friend of ours named Jared. If I don't make it out, please seek him. There might be more work to be done, and I know he needs all the help he can get from trusted people.
You know, it's funny. You know how many times I've probably walked by all of you conspiring on this stuff just to go tune a piano somewhere in the music department, and know this was all happening just right in a building I walked by. Oh, man.
Sometimes it's just the luck of the draw.
Guess maybe I'm glad I didn't know until now.
Ignorance is bliss. Believe me, there are things I wish I could forget. And she sort of nods and goes back to take her place. Earl Larson's fishing cabin is deep within the woods and borders the long and endless stretch of swamplands. Through the thickening fog, you can make out the edge of his property as Mrs. Mosley crouches next to a row of bushes. The air is chill, cuts through your jackets like a knife, and despite the warmth and relative freshness of your clothing, you can smell the rotten bog water blowing across the swamp, foul and off-putting. The thrum of bugs buzz loudly above and around you. Miss Mosley turns towards the three of you and nudges. That's the place.
And when's the last time you saw the creature?
And Anna sort of shudders and says, it attacked us yesterday, I guess? Or, I don't know. Yeah, yesterday, I guess.
Is it likely to sneak up on us?
Miss Mosley sort of smiles wide. The wretch can be in any part of the swamp pretty quickly. But no, you're likely to hear her coming. It's the buzzing.
All right, well, let's go investigate the cabin then. I don't hear anything.
And the deputy's like, Miss Mosley, Anna, why don't you guys stay here? I'll come with you. They can watch our backs. If you see anything coming, call out. And the deputy stands up and follows you towards the cabin. The building itself is dilapidated and sits at the end of a small drive that you see was coming from the south. You sort of come at it from another angle. The wooden steps are slanted and wet. The porch feels like it can barely hold your weight and sends out loud creaks in protest. The screen door sits slightly ajar, but the wooden door behind seems firmly locked as the deputy reaches out and goes to turn it. Well?
Petra goes to a window and scrubs some dirt away, looks inside.
It looks completely black, but give me a spot hidden.
Okay. Well, that's the best roll you could get.
Holy shit. Yeah, you...
Nice.
What seems at first to be just darkness, you sort of cup your hands to look and let your eyes adjust, cutting out all sort of gray light from the evening, or from the midnight moon, I should say. At first, it looks like maybe a thick layer of dust on everything, but it looks black, like soot. And as your eyes sort of focus in the waning moonlight and the bottom of the sill, you realize that it's flies. Thousands upon thousands of dead flies scattered along every table, windowsill, and floor. And the entirety of the inside of this building is just draped in black. And, yeah.
Ugh. Oh, how vile.
What is it?
There's bugs in there.
Oh.
Bugs?
Millions of them.
I'm gonna go walk and just make sure I don't hear anything. You guys check this out. Yeah.
Really, you two? What bugs? They're bugs.
Yeah.
We literally just ran from a 10-foot tall monster.
Yeah,
Shh, I might hear something over there. Just let me go see if I can hear it. And you guys check out what's in there.
You're worried about bugs? Come
Yeah,
on.
and you
Hurry.
walk around the edge of the cabin. It's sort of as bordered by this thin walkway that stretches out over the sort of swamp-like lake that at one time must have been a bit cleaner, but now it sits pretty dark and dismal in the evening. And as you sort of walk around, you notice that one of the back windows is open, but you don't hear or see anything.
Petra, Cedric,
Yeah.
check around back. I think there's a window, but and Jan leans up against a tree and like he's just in this moment, and all I can see is flashes of all of these like maggots crawling under his skin, bursting out into all of these flies that are filling up the black cloud of this room, and he just feel them all like trying to crawl back inside his skin, and so he's like on the far side of the tree, just like hyperventilating and you know, clutching that shotgun and just trying to hold it together.
Yeah, you have entomophobia.
The window over there, it's open. If you could shut it.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, yeah.
Why don't you give me a sanity roll, Ian? Because you have a phobia about bugs.
I do have a phobia. It turns out, don't like bugs.
Bugophobia.
No bueno.
Entophobia.
I'm gonna check that back window.
Yeah, take 1d6.
Sure.
Yeah, so Cedric, you walk around and you can open the back window and you see this like layer of flies dead lying on everything.
And can I do a spot hidden in the room? We'll see more. I guess it's
sure. I mean, she got as good as you can
dark,
get from
right?
outside. Yeah.
Right. She got exceptionally good.
Yeah.
Did I give her the lighter?
I don't have it.
Okay. In that case, I will pull out the lighter and cut my hand around it and flick it on.
And the gas that had been filling the room for every square. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Again, you see just these flies everywhere. You see a small kitchen table. You see a like a hearth of a fireplace, a rocking chair. Can't quite see anything without getting into the room.
What about smell? Do I smell anything?
Yeah, I mean, there are so many flies that you can sort of smell the presence of their sickly stench, the rotting carcasses of millions of flies.
What are we doing here again? I had my mind set on Lodge Key Catacombs, but this is the fisherman's cabin.
This is where she was birthed.
Okay. I've got a way in over here. Thanks, Jan. How you doing?
It's all good. I'm gonna I'll keep an eye out on this side.
I'm gonna go in. I'll unlock the door from inside.
Yeah, maybe shut the window though.
And I shake my head and
climb through.
Crawl in.
With the crunch of dead flies beneath your palms, you sort of press your hand on the windowsill, this sort of squish, dried crunch beneath them, and you setting your foot down on the floor inside, you can feel like stepping on broken glass almost. Step by step, you walk across the floor with each crunch running up your spine as you reach the door and unlock it. Deputy Patterson opens the door, which sweeps the floor in a smooth, fan-like clearing to let the moonlight pour in, and you see the light of the small cabin, and you light a candle on the table, which sort of illuminates the outlying area.
Is there a broom?
It's a great question.
What about like a shop vac?
There's definitely a broom.
Excellent. I'm going to grab that broom. I'm going to start sweeping things to the side so that maybe Jan can come in.
Yeah.
It's a trick. It's made out of bugs.
And Petra, what are you doing?
Yeah, Petra cautiously enters after the deputy and looks around in disdain.
Give me a roll with advantage, Petra, because you've already reached a critical success.
Mm-hmm.
So but now that you're in, you're sort of using some of that knowledge that you already have.
Mm-hmm.
Say it one more time.
Oh.
Wow. Wait.
10.
That's either 10 or 100. Which do you want to take?
I would like the 10, please.
Is that hard or extreme?
That is my spot hidden extreme.
Well, look at that.
So she walks in and sort of does a tight pivot, a tight 360. Her feet still crunching quietly on the bodies of hundreds of flies.
And
are they like carrion flies?
What's that?
Like they're like house flies but larger, kind of blue black,
the big
iridescent
fatty ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are. And as you stand there with your extreme success, you basically save the game. Because what you notice is something very difficult to see. Surprisingly difficult to see. Even under the flies, you wouldn't have noticed it. But as Cedric is sweeping the floor, he moves a very small rug. And you see just the edge of a trapdoor.
Cedric, what's that?
Cedric, you look down to see sort of the outlying trace of a small 3x3 foot trapdoor beneath a similarly small rug.
Good spot. I'm gonna sweep the area clear. What was that?
I saved the game.
Save the game.
Well, it would have been very tough otherwise.
And I'm going to open it. I'm going to reach down and try to find a way to open it.
Yeah, it opens up pretty clearly. It's so well hidden. Again, it's just by pure chance that you happen to be sweeping the floor while she rolled such extreme success.
It's like one of those trap doors where like the floorboards, instead of just being a flat line, they like interlock.
Yep.
And so it's like a random.
Well, it's more so the fact that like there was a perfectly sized mat on top of it and the entire area was filled with flies. Very unlikely that you would have been like, I'm going to sweep up the flies and I'm going to move this mat. And very unlikely that she would have been extreme. I'm just letting you know it was a very good luck.
I think it's a combo effort.
Yeah, I'm saying it's a very good effort.
So in a way, my phobia saved the game.
Really, Rob playing this campaign saved the game. That's really taking.
If we had I do what I can. It's a team effort.
You lift.
Yes. You're the reason why I swept the floor, right?
You lift the trapdoor to see a small ladder down into the darkness.
How's it going in there?
Cleared a path for you and found way down into the basement. How does it smell now?
It smells pretty gross down here too.
I smell hidden.
So give me a smell hidden roll.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Did you roll smell hidden?
No, I didn't. But I'll do a spot hidden. Well, I guess you can spot with your nose.
Follow my nose.
Especially if you're a hound dog.
Boo! 94.
Yeah, you don't smell nothing. You smell darkness.
Oh, it smells dark down here, guys. Keep your ears peeled.
Listen. Smell that?
All right. Jan, are you gonna?
Yeah, I'm right behind you.
Okay. I guess I'll go first.
Petra's like in the doorway. She's like, I ain't moving. Yan's like, I ain't coming in. Deputy's like, what's going on?
After you. Please.
So why am I going down here? What are we looking for? We're looking for.
We want to know
information.
Well, if we go directly to the catacombs, we will probably be killed by the wretch.
So we're looking for a way to stop the wretch, or like find out if it has any weaknesses.
Yeah.
We feel like that answer is possibly downstairs in this really smelly basement.
It's worth a check.
Is it now? I say as I'm standing in the trapdoor.
We came all this way
safely at the doorway.
I'll be right here.
You know, the deputy's like, all right, I'll go down. And he moves you to the side. And he like...
I don't mind going with you. I'm just saying that maybe this isn't something we should send one person alone.
And he's like, well, I'm with you. And he like cocks the shotgun. And he points.
I feel better now.
I just needed that sound effect.
Oh yeah, and you get a +1 to your
sound effect.
What kind of shotgun is that?
The Friends theme with just the shotgun sound.
Yeah, and you climb down the short ladder into the darkness to see the rock wall lined cellar. It's a small area. Looks like it's used mainly for like storage for cans and things like that. It's not necessarily a hidden area, but is hidden as of late for some odd reason, or in the last 20 years or so. And as you glance your flashlight over the walls, you see a small table down here, as well as a chain hammered into the wall, holding nothing. Just sort of as if it was someone was chained to the wall.
Okay, I observe all of the corners before going far into the room.
Good thinking.
And I might as well do a spot hidden now that I'm down here. I'll use my eyes.
Yeah, give me a spin.
Also, not using a flashlight. This is by the flicker of the candle that I brought down with me.
Okay.
Or one of the candles.
Give me candle flick.
Candle flick is successful. It's also a hard success.
Yeah. So
extreme success.
You see
hard success. Hard.
You see on the piece of paper on the table is a piece of paper, which says, "It seems to be a note." Why don't you read it out for us, Justin? It's in handouts.
Okay.
Or just oops, I put in discussion. Wait, let me put in handouts.
Okay, got it.
There you go.
Here we go. The wretch has one weakness. And if you know this one weakness, you will be able to defeat it. Okay. Is there anything else down here? I'm just going to kind of pocket the note. I'm feeling...
Yeah, sure. Give me...
now.
What did you get, a hard?
A hard success,
yeah. Yeah, you see a can of gasoline.
Oh, interesting. I shake it.
Yeah, it's pretty full.
You see anything, detective or deputy? As I pick up the gas tank.
And he's like, not really. But he grabs a shawl, a blood-stained dress that is like made of dry fabric. And he puts it over his shoulder.
All right, well, I guess that's all there's to see down here. Come on. And I start making my way back up.
And as you do, Mrs. Mosley is sort of in the doorway, and she's like, "Can we go back home? I don't want to stay out in the swamp too long, especially not in the early morning."
Yeah. Why don't we head back to the cabin? Before we go, I don't know. Maybe this will change things. I found a note down there. Let me just read this quickly.
Sure.
I do not understand what matter of creature this is. Whatever the poor child birthed, it is not of this world. I had intended to dispose of the creature when I was done with Catherine's body, and tried, but it seemed that nothing worked. At first I tried shooting it. I chained the wretched thing to the wall, but the bullet nearly bounced off of it. I tried swiping it with a blade, but alas, nothing worked. I had left the cabin for the day to purchase gasoline. I would burn the damn thing alive if I had to, but I returned. I noticed all manner of insect. Flies, mosquitoes, no scions, and a sea of dragon and horse flies had all come around. You might want to cover your ears for this one, Jan.
Okay. Keep going.
digging through the cracks of the walls, clawing at the floorboards, clinging to the screen. Despite it being the dead of winter, there were hundreds. As I made my way back inside, I swatted at them, killing hundreds and handfuls, but a dent was barely made. I made my way down to the wretch in order to bathe the thing in gasoline when I realized that it had been wounded. Somehow it was connected to the insects that spun around it. I paused for a thought, and instead decided I would try to understand it, at least until the ice thaws. Huh. So something to do with the insects. The insects are connected to it somehow, like some of its vitality or something.
And Anna sort of nods and says, when it attacked us, it had swarms of insects around it. They were tight, but still too loose to be able to kill in one go.
And you said that the thing is preceded by a buzzing sound.
Yeah. That is the swarm. That is what it carries with it. And the deputy pushes past you kindly and says, let's head back inside to Miss Mosley's.
Yeah. I think we got all we need.
The six of you head back to the tower that she has, and inside, by the warmth of the fire, you feel comfortable once again, as comfortable as you can be at the edge of the swamp. The fog is still thick and clings to the head of the bog. It's maybe 3, 4 in the morning, but the light of day has yet to pierce. It still looks black night. And as you look out the window, Miss Mosley locks the heavy door and turns around and says, I have something that I think maybe you could use.
Is it a torch?
It's funny.
2 torches.
It's a second torch. She walks over to the stairs, and behind the stairs there's a square stone that she pushes in, and it sort of turns. And in it she grabs a bound piece of fabric and pulls it out. She opens the fabric softly, holding more respect for this object than you had seen her with anything else. And she reveals a large leather-bound book, completely blank on the front, blank on the seams, and it looks like it's bound in thick flesh. This has been in my family for generations. It was something that my father's fathers found in the swamp, in Lodge Key. She looks down at it and sort of taps it. I don't know how good it will be, but here. And she hands it to you and looks towards Anna and says, if this thing really does mean the end of time, then perhaps it's best time to use that. And you look through, and it looks to be a number of bizarre sort of incantations and spells and things like that. None of them seem to make too much sense, but you can give me a library use if you'd like.
Are there any symbols that match any symbols we happen to have found?
Great question. Yeah, give me a library use real quick.
Oh, I got experience. Let's
Actually, you know what? You're not going to need it because you got some time anyway. I will
Perfect.
say immediately the 3 of you are crowding around this thing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You notice the symbol that you saw through the front door. And on that page with that symbol is actually a handwritten note that sort of has an explanation for what it is. And it says Elder Sign. And it says, when active, blocks creatures from passing through in sort of one way or another. Here's the mechanical designation in the handouts. Elder Sign.
Handouts.
So now we choose our class. Wizard.
Other than that, there are a few other hand-scribbled notes, but they seem to be in different languages.
Huh.
I know Latin.
Give me a roll.
I don't know this Latin.
Yeah, it seems totally foreign to you.
Just reading the elder sign, the thingy.
Why don't you read out loud?
Cost is 10 power. Casting time is an hour. There's a quote by H.P. Lovecraft and August Derleth. Its decoration was rather in the rough shape of a star, in the center of which there appeared to be a caricature of a single giant eye, but it was not an eye, rather a broken lozenge in shape with certain lines suggestive of flames, or perhaps a solitary pillar of flame. The spell activates an elder sign. Each active elder sign takes a sacrifice of 10 power to create, but costs no sanity points. May be formed into a leaden seal, carved in rock, forged in steel. Makes a path unusable to minions of the great old ones and mythos gods, as well as to those greater beings themselves. Cool. So we would need to use this on the obelisk, right? We can seal whatever it is away.
I don't know if it'd be that simple.
Well, we could try. I don't know if you have any better ideas.
Sorry, I don't know. It just seems so easy that the answer's just here in this book.
Oh, well,
she sort
it's
of
not
shakes
very
her
easy
head.
that we
says,
got here.
That sign is only going to pass. It's only going to stop them from moving. And Anna says, I don't think that sign would do anything for something as powerful as a god. Not to mention it's only so large as it is to protect. If you carved it on a stone, it would only protect a stone. I don't think it would work.
I mean, had it been on the ship that was transporting it, maybe we wouldn't be in this mess.
It wasn't a god that brought that obelisk off.
Yeah, fair. Wishful thinking. All right.
You said there's other stuff in the book?
Yeah. Do you want to give me a library use or occult or Cthulhu mythos? I'll let you each roll something pertaining, and there are huge benefits that you can get depending on what you roll. So might want to roll with some XP.
So I've used Colin's XP so far. I'm going to go ahead and use Bjorn's XP for this one.
And what are you going to roll?
I'm going to roll... Actually, my highest of the 3 is occult.
Okay.
Is that valuable at all?
That's valuable, yeah. I'm going to say this. There is a spell that you can get with a regular library use or language translating, and there's a spell specifically that can only be acquired if you have some sort of occult or mythos rule. Those are the 2 that you can get.
Well, I'm going occult right now, so here goes nothing. No, 42. Wait, maybe I can spend some luck? Yeah, so my occult is 35, so I'll spend 7.
How much luck do you go down for?
Now I have 52.
Okay.
Well,
Luck.
Lots of luck, man.
I can try the library use. I got 1 more XP left for today.
Okay. Justin, and you gonna roll mythos?
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I guess I'll do Cthulhu Mythos. Yeah,
It's up to you.
You're a mythos guy, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm apparently the
Super
Mythos
fail.
guy.
Both fail? Okay.
Well, yeah, I don't know about this. Oh, brutal. Nope.
Yeah, no, you.
Oh wait, those are those are D8s.
Oh.
Come on.
That was a great roll for D&D
D8s,
damage, though. Whoopsie doodle. Maybe this will be better.
Oh.
Fuck yeah.
8 or 6. What is the numbers? 6. So that is a hard success.
Did we do it?
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yahoo! Thank you, Carly, for that.
The first spell you get is this one. Why don't you read that out?
That's for me, the occult?
Correct.
I found Find Gate. Cost is 1 magic point and 1d3 sanity. Casting time is 20 to 60 minutes. Through a series of gestures and a specific chant, the spell reveals to the caster any gate if it is within the caster's direct vision. While the spell locates a gate, it does not empower anyone to open, close, create, or pass through it. Neither does this limited form of spell allow the caster to determine whether the gate traverses time or distance.
So that was your occult roll. Did you roll Mythos and had that success?
Cthulhu Mythos. Yeah, I've got 18 Cthulhu Mythos.
Damn it.
Nicely done.
All right.
But I'm going to just speak up when she tells me about the gate. When I say maybe that's what these creatures are coming through. Maybe the mist opens up these gates and it is coming from some source that we can't see.
And Miss Mosley says, "It's not just one gate, it's the mist itself, don't you see? You're thinking too much like a human. You're thinking about this as if it's a portal for these things to walk through, but the mist, it's 1,000 portals. It's all around us. They can slip between our dimension and their dimension almost accidentally. I don't even think the creatures are doing it purposefully. I think they're waltzing into our dimension and waltzing back. It's why we see them sporadically and then they disappear into the mist once again."
So where does the mist come from? What makes this mist special?
And Anna sort of speaks up and says, "I don't know. I think it's something to do with the cult. I don't know if they're just trying to drive everyone crazy. This grinnerdom, this blood on the obelisk that turns people insane, that's not for any purpose that I can tell. There's something behind this motivation that just seems to want people to go mad." And as they speak, Justin, your eyes fall upon a passage that doesn't seem to make sense. It's completely foreign language. It's untranslated in every way, shape, or form. And you go to turn the page, but as you do, the words sort of switch, and they make sense, and then switch back. Almost nervously, you sort of go back to the page and stare at it once again, and the words seem bizarre, and then the longer you stare, they sort of formulate into what you understand. And this is what you see. Why don't you read that for us?
Mind transfer.
What?
Cost 10 magic points.
I don't even have that many.
What is magic point? Where's that? Holy
I do.
shit. You've got that much?
I got 13.
1d10 sanity points. Casting time 5 rounds or more. A powerful spell allowing the caster to permanently trade minds with a target, perhaps to attain longer life at the target's expense. You want to upgrade models there, Rob?
Oh, Jan's pretty broken
kind
at
of
this
falling
point.
apart. For the spell to take effect, the caster must succeed in an opposed POW roll with the target. With success, the caster loses 1d10 sanity points, and the victim loses 1d20 sanity points. If the exchange fails, the caster must immediately cast the spell again, losing 10 more magic points, or his or her soul dissipates into eternity.
Wow.
Once the transfer is begun, it cannot be broken off. A successful casting means that the caster has permanently taken control of the target's body. The caster's previous body is now a hollow, dead thing. As for the mind of the target, conjecture suggests that it is expelled from the body and thus dies. However, some hint that it remains inside its own body, subservient to the caster's mind and locked in a permanent state of horrific madness.
This book is horrifying.
As you read this out to the others, you share a knowing look. Just as the gray mist outside begins to lighten with the dawning of the final day, Anna breathes a heavy sigh, and Deputy Patterson sort of nods, and each of you know that you have enough to try to end this thing once and for all. And we are going to end it there. for Call of Cthulhu Part 9.
Bravo!
Well done,
Bravo!
ladies and gentlemen. You guys did very, very good. I'm
Yeah.
glad you got those spells. I'm nervous that you got them because I don't know how you're going to use them. And Call of Cthulhu magic is crazy.
That last spell is like super intense, but at the same time, like I don't know if like we could use it because it's just so much of a risk.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing. So there's like a lot of that to me is like a fail-safe spell. Like if you're like dying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're kind of like, ooh. But it also presents you with another option on how this whole thing can be solved and fixed and all that kind of shit. So, well done, guys. You did great. Who should get endgame XP?
Question. A lot of great people hanging out with us on Discord tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone for joining us.
Mm-hmm.
Man. Who... We revealed so many important tidbits.
Mm-hmm.
You know who was like making me feel really good today, just like laying out some positive vibes? Langdon Blaster.
Let's get it to Langdon. Love me some Langdon. Langdon's a sweetheart. You know, after last week, we said, when Joe and I said that we're moving in together and that we're going to be streaming from the same room, and Joe was like, oh, I might have to go to another room because of reverb. And I was like, I hope not. Langdon sent me like 2 messages on Facebook for 2 separate days. He was like, hey, I did a bunch of research. Here's some way that you can be in the same room without reverb. He's like, the biggest problem you got is echo. It's so cute.
Wow.
That's
cute.
Nice.
So
That's
appreciated
really nice.
And so sweet. Thank you, Langdon. So absolutely, I think Langdon should win. And also, it makes it possible for us to be in the same room streaming. Which
You just want to be playing Stardew Valley with me and to be able to look over and be like, babe, can you get the tomatoes?
And I can like high five you mid game.
So true.
Just see it like a hand come in from the side of the screen. Hey guys. Well done, Langdon, and well done everybody. I hope you're ready. Next week is the finale, the end of all of this. How is it going to end? Totally up to these guys. We're going to find out.
Not well.
Well,
we're just going to mind transfer like each other.
I love
shits.
that if you fail the mind transfer, you have to do it again until you basically die or it works. You don't have an out. Yeah. It's not like cast and fail. Okay, I'll try again next round or ever again. It's like no, you get one go and you either do it or you die.
Well, do magic points like how do you get more magic points?
Magic points, no, I think they're expendable. At least in that spell, it's like you spend them and then you're done.
Yeah, so nobody has 20, so you get one shot or you're...
No, you can level them up. There are ways to get more magic points by like reading things and stuff. Honestly, I don't deal with magic too much in the campaigns because I find a lot of it so fucking OP. Like this spell where it's like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna transfer my mind to someone else. Is like,
well, I think this is something that's like got to be at the end of the campaign, like it is. Because if you use that next week and like it fails, then you're dead. Like that would fucking suck in the second episode.
Yeah,
it's a gun though, right? A gun that explodes in your hands. You use it, it kills somebody.
Yeah, but even that I wouldn't put it until the end of the campaign. It's dynamite. That's why
kill somebody.
That's why you get the dynamite. That's why you get all this shit. So at the end of the campaign.
Trading your body in for a new
The magic, I gotta say, the magic in Call of Cthulhu is really cool. It's just so fatalist. Like it's so all or nothing. And like 90% of the spells are like that. Like a ton of the spells are just like summon deities. And in every deity, and I'm talking every single thing you can summon, the minute you summon it, it pretty much attacks you. So like there's no good guy to fight for you. Like you can't summon something and be like, hey, sick 'em. It's like you summon and then you hide and hope that it fights whatever the other thing has that's bigger. It's like all just chance. Because these are like, the whole point of it is dealing with gods and shit that you have no fucking idea what you're dealing with. So anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Call of Cthulhu Part 9. I hope you have a wonderful night and a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next Wednesday. And as my good... Who are we at? Joe. As my good Joe always likes to say...
It's my bedtime.
It's her bedtime. Good night!